How? How? 2 runs scored for the Dodgers. 2 measly runs. One was a forced um, score on walk, and then one just misplayed defensive play by the catcher Orion Kirkering there. Just welcome into the Fightins final. The last Fightins final of 2025. I'm sure we'll have a season wrap up. We'll have a season. We'll have a look ahead. I mean, I hate to say I called this a little bit. I said they're going to play really well the night before, and this will be. I said 3-1 victory. Either way, Dodgers or Phillies. 2-1. I guess I was close enough with this one. Sanchez, credit where credit's due. Tomper calls questionable again. I don't understand some of the things. Luzardo gave his best effort coming in for relief. Kirkering, I don't know, moment was too big for. I don't know what it was. You know, just coughed up the ball, drew home for the force out. 2-1, 11 innings final. Dodgers limped into the NLCS. Well, can't say limped in. They had 2 games on us. Phillies just dropped the ball way too much. It was just dropping the ball way too much. No offense. You know, the big guys showed up last night. They didn't show up tonight. I mean, no adjustment in the lineup at all. You know, when a guy who was injured comes in, at least puts, you know, takes like what, 11, 12 pitches in Harrison Bader. You know, I'm sure a lot of the talk will be about him in the offseason. What do we do with Bader? I like him. Hopefully we keep him. But Michael Papernick, bumbling full manager, bring in Duran in the 7th. I don't get it either, Mike. I don't. I really don't. But then again, if this was in the 7th with Kirkering, I don't know. It just, but I don't get it either. I really don't get it. I don't. I mean, yeah, with Robbie, but this game was on the offense, man. It's on Bryce Harper. It's on Trey Turner. It's on Kyle Schwarber, guys that we've hoisted up on our shoulders throughout the whole season. You know, Trey had a really good outside of his injury in September. I mean, he was probably could have won the batting challenge. MVP chance. You heard a lot for Kyle Schwarber. A lot of money up in those top 3 and nothing to show for it. And, you know, I was prepared for this last night, to be honest with you, Mike. I was prepared to be let down last night. But then I saw something like, okay, well, maybe these guys woke up a little bit. You know, I'm watching every other baseball game. I mean, the Cubs scored 3 runs in the first inning in their game against Milwaukee and Chicago tonight. And we you know, squeak out a run. I mean, Glasnow had a great outing tonight too. You know, credit where credit's due. But I just, you know, I put on this. I put this on the offense. I put it on the offense. I mean, you couldn't get anything. You can't get anything going. You can't get anything. You couldn't get any juice going. A lot of pop ups, a lot of crap. Just nothing in play much at all. I mean, Nick Castellanos, I've been riding his ass all year long, but I mean, at least he gave us the one lone run that we scored tonight. Put a lot of effort into this team. Sink a lot of money into this team. Merchandise. Okay. A lot of time. 162 regular season games. All the guys at this network, Mike, Maddie, Steve, Pat, just The way this Phillies team just didn't show up, the way this team just didn't, the way this team just didn't do what they're supposed to do. The way this team didn't do the small things. Baseball. A lot of the same problems. I know it's a Titans final. We have kind of a breakdown. I'm gonna hit the box score up for you if you really give a damn at this point. Last season was the same way. Last season was a little different. Last season, I think they were more cocky and they just thought it was going to happen. This season, they got hot and then they were not at the last 10 days of the season. Then they had their break because of the second, the bye, whatever you want to call it. They had to go in the wild card. And they just shot themselves in the foot this time. Last year was just cocky. They just crap. They expected to be there. They expected the NLCS just to be kind of like handed to them. This year, they kept shooting themselves in the foot. This should be a tied. This should be tied series right now. We should have won one in Philly. It was all lost on their own. Like the Dodgers are really good team. I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, cliche, Dodgers didn't beat us, the Phillies beat," but they did. They did just stupid mistakes, just constant mistakes, and yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I picked the Phillies to win tonight. Also, I thought maybe they had some juice in them after what happened last night. But it's like they blew their load, and that's it. And then nothing. You can't muster. And like I said, at least if they were getting like hard hits and the Dodgers were just playing like superb defense, fine. I'll take that. I'll take being beaten by the better team. But this is again another time we weren't beaten by the better team. We're beaten by ourselves, and because of dumb mistakes and dumb moves by the manager. It's heartbreaker. Panic, can't play under pressure. Again, the Kerkering move, I didn't love. I didn't love the Kerkering move. I know you're going with the matchup, and he should have been out. He really should have been out, but Kerkering doesn't really always do well when he comes in relief of somebody with guys on the base path. He doesn't. He really, really doesn't, and it's something that we all know, but Tomper went with, and he rolled the dice, and the guy should have been out, and he just went he bobbled the ball when it hit his feet. For those who were just joining me, Kerkering, and instead of, I guess he figured he didn't have Hernandez out at first, so he tried to just throw it back to home for the force out. Just sidearmed it to the right of JT Realmuto. No chance. Game over. Walk off in the most blasé, non-dramatic fashion. Just not, I don't know. Just like I said, if he just got hit and the guy placed the ball right in the field, just good hitting, beat him, I would have rather seen that. Not that way. Remind me again what relief pitcher I told you was worthless panic machine inside of the head for the past 2 years. Hey, Nooms, you're not wrong. And I agreed with you. Like, I do like Kerkering. I think it could work with him a little bit more, but he is not a guy I would have brought in this situation, knowing that he doesn't do well with guys on the base path. He just, in a do or die moment, I don't get it. This is why people get upset with Tomper. And, are the Phillies now the Sixers in some ways? The Sixers were a couple of years ago. Good regular season, win 50 plus wins, win 90 some odd wins here, and they get to the playoffs and crickets. John, what's up, buddy? I'd be surprised if Rob Thompson's back next year. Team fought, but bat silent again. There's got to be some maneuvers. I think Matty B called it a sacrifice. I don't know if it's a sacrifice with Tomper. I think the team likes him and respects him to a point. There's a hang up somewhere that they play for him because they like him and he's for them. But there has to be some sort of, I call it like a father figure a guy you respect, but there's a little bit of a fear of letting him down. Not a fear of like he's going to hurt me or beat me, but a fear of letting me down. And just that hoisted up father figure. I don't know if that's there. I don't know if that's there. I'm not telling you once what. It's not, I mean, I love you to death, but there's nothing to laugh about in my eyes. This team just kept, and like I said, I would have preferred last night, just lost last night. Just go get the brakes beaten off you and be done with it. And instead of putting up with 11 innings of pacing back and forth, and just knowing that this game could have been won by the Phillies 2 or 3 different times. Jay, what's going on, buddy? Yep, blew their load last night. Big time, Jay. The starters do so good. Hitting always let the starters down. And that's the other thing. Because now, even as good as Sanchez was tonight, just imagine if you had maybe a run or two to work with. Just imagine. I mean, he got one a little later. But imagine that like, there was 2 runs, maybe 3 runs. Maybe you don't go to Duran then. You bring Strom in. I don't know. It's just that smartest man in the room mentality. Let's take the pitchers with 70 strikes and 22 balls and then intentionally walk bases loaded with a high velocity pitcher. Let's do that, Topper. Yeah, like I know what you're talking about. And the other thing was the Ohtani walk, which then led to the run. I get it's Shohei Ohtani, one of the greatest baseball players playing right now. Not going to take that away from a unicorn a unicorn among unicorns. But the man has been struggling this Diaz, and I mean I have this thing about their baseball is way too analytical, but analytics have its place, but there's got to be a feel. And Ohtani is dangerous and can be dangerous. And I know Durant had some history. One time he hit a 2-run home run to walk off Duran 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. Who hasn't Ohtani done that to? I mean, if you do that with almost every pitcher at that point, I mean, I would have went up against Duran. I mean, I think you load the bases, you give guys little room for error. That's what the whole game was. Maybe if I do my Broad Street bottom line right now, this team played with little room to error all series long and errored every goddamn time, and this is what we're dealing with. And then that's my point is sometimes you got to pitch to who's in front of you. If it's Shohei Ohtani or not Shohei Ohtani, then let's put in the worst pitcher in baseball and with inherited runners, career over. Like, that's the point. I don't know. I would have stuck with Luzardo. The matchup thing's just too much. I mean, Luzardo, I don't know. It could have ended either way. I mean, I go back to the 2022 World Series, when they took out Wheeler, and, could have would have happened, not happened if you didn't take out Wheeler with Wheeler. I look at that and say that a couple times, but same thing could have happened here, but it's just one too many times. There has to be a change. There has to be, I'm not saying they'll burn it all down, but there's got to be some changes. We need guys more like Bader. We need guys who have energy. We have guys who are just trying to exhaust pitches and pitchers' pitches instead of just first pitch swinging bloops. Jay, when they brought up out Kirkland, I knew it was over. Where's our aces? This team will never win a World Series. Well, no, now they won't now, Eagles fan. I mean, this team. I mean, if you mean the Phillies, I can say never, but the way it's currently constructed, no. And I'm already telling you right now, Brandon Marsh had a nice resurgence year. I'm going to give him credit where credit's due, but I'm over him too. I think it's time to move on from him. I think it's time to move on from Bohm. I think it's time to move on for Castellanos. It's time. Like, Castellanos and Bohm mainly are more personality locker room guys. They're just pouty guys. I'm over, and they're streaky. They're very streaky, and I'm tired of seeing Bohm in the 4 hole. Sorry. Yep, beat ourselves. That's what Ryan says. That what was pick up one. That what was pick on why they wouldn't win the World Series. Oh, that's why you didn't pick them to win the World Series. This team has not looked good in the playoffs since losing to the Diamondbacks independent. Mike, 100%. I think I said that last night. If you're watching the show with Matty B, I said this team had this juice about them in the playoffs, and we all felt it. And everything we used to make fun of the Braves for, same thing. Hey, killer regular season team, and then they get to the playoffs and it's cold. We become that team. We become what we have made fun of. We're like the bullies on the playground who pick on the guy, and then the guy grows up to be a martial arts expert and breaks the dude's arm. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we've become. We've become expectant to be here. And that's not what we should hear. Where was Walker Buehler? John, 100%. Why Walker Buehler wasn't brought in? I would even say Walker Buehler over Luzardo. The guy just did the same thing with the Dodgers last postseason. Where was Walker Buehler at? I don't understand what they were saving him for. Unless Walker Buehler was set to go off, because when you brought in Luzardo, you're telegraphing to me he's not going to be Game 5 if that's what's happening. So was he like, oh, we're going to need Walker Buehler for Game 5. We're going to do another tandem like we did Game 3. I don't know, John. I don't know. Had so much time to go to first base. Yeah, I mean, he panicked, man. Ryan just straight up panicked. Nooms has been talking about it. He just panics. He doesn't have that winner mentality right now. Maybe I don't know. They got a lot of loose ends in this bullpen. I mean, you got Duran, that's great. Strom, but after that, it's tough. I like Kerkering in Lehigh Valley. Yes. The backs showed the blueprint to how to beat the Phillies. Just throw junk and they will all swing. It's not just throw junk. It's throw stuff that they can make contact with, but they can't hit over the fence. That's what it was. When we got cocky in games 1 and 2 against the Diamondbacks in 2023, they took a long look at themselves and said, all right, we got to stop giving these guys ability to hit over the fence. Walk them, let them hit single bloops and all that stuff, doubles, but not give them anything they can hit over the fence. And watch them struggle. Watch them get in their own heads. And that's exactly what they did. Ryan here. Tanner Banks is the best with the guys on even versus righties. Tanner Banks, I don't know, maybe wasn't available. I don't know about it. I would have thought him before Kerkering as well. The moment was too big for him. Can't help the feel for the guy. Matt, I mean, I feel bad for anybody who gets stuck. It's a big moment for everybody. But Kerkering, and he says LAD there, so I'm guessing you're a Dodgers fan. So maybe you haven't followed the Phillies as much, but Kerkering has had plenty of moments where he's buckled under pressure. And I mean, that was the biggest pressure cooker moment of anybody's career. And I just don't get why Thompson put him out there, Matt. I really don't. Free agents, Ranger, Kyle, JT, and I think JT might be the only one coming back. Well, Ranger, they might have to, depending on what was going on with Wheeler. JT, I agree. I don't even know if I want Kyle now. I mean, right now I'm emotional. Right now I'm not clearly thinking about making decisions. Nobody is. I don't think, Dombrowski or anybody's going into the room right now going, oh, that's Schwarber right now. I mean, but you have to go with the long game now. On top, paid players are father figures. We don't need Tomper. I don't think so either. I think it just a change needs to be made. We need a guy who has the pedigree, who's been there. Yes, Ricky, Phillies lost. Losing bases loaded, walk to an error has to be one of the worst ways to end the season. Yeah, Matt. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, think about both Dodgers scores came off a walk with bases loaded and a throwing error from the pitcher's mound, like one of the closest areas to throw from. What should have been one of the most routine plays, but it wasn't. And it is. It's gut wrenching. It's gut wrenching, and it's gut wrenching because it goes back to the offense being non-existent. I mean, the Dodgers have had offense, so them not being non-existent tonight, okay, then you're gonna have a down game. The Phillies, it's just they blew that load last night, and they started scoring runs when they were beating up on a broken Kershaw. There's time to be players coach, and there's time to be a play coach, to not be the players coach and hold players accountable. Mike, that's very true, but I think you kind of have to, as a coach, no, not professional. It is a very it's a really hard thing to balance, but you kind of have to pick a lane. You really have to pick a lane and stick in it. It's hard to be both. Marsh was bad, and they knew it. They walked Bohm. You walk Bohm's in the 4 spot, and you're walking Bohm. You intentionally walk Bohm twice. I put the intentional walk up. Sorry. You intentionally walk Bohm twice to get to Brandon Marsh. At one point, that was another Tomper move. Why wouldn't you just flip him and JT? At least JT could protect Bohm a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that's what I don't get. Why couldn't Marsh move down a spot or two? And it's like a little bit of hubris. Players like Robbie because he's a doormat to them. I mean, I don't know if he's a doormat to them, but he's not the grab you by the jersey, get in your face and break you down kind of guy. You play scared, you get scared results. Yeah. Goodbye, Topper. Let new manager fire the rest of them. The DFA's list is long. Yeah. Duran doesn't trust his breaking ball stuff enough. He throws too many fastballs. Yeah, they can work with him in that, but I'm not worried about Duran, to be honest with you. He's one of the few bright spots coming back next year. Fax Noom going back to bunt call back in Philly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Listen, Topper's going to get a lot of heat on this one, as he should. And maybe he goes home tonight, lays his head on a pillow, and maybe he thinks he's done. Maybe this was all or nothing for him. I don't know. I would have stuck with Luzardo, absolutely. Nooms. I'm actually not even disappointed right now. The most unexpected emotion I feel right now, relief. I am relieved. I hate to say it, but this is the greater good for the long-term outlook. I get you. Silver lining Nooms, silver lining-ish type thing. But it is gut-wrenching because the team does have that potential and can be dangerous, but can and if and won't and will, ifs and buts, candies and nuts, man. That's the old saying there. As I've been saying, Robbie can't manage without analytics involved. Yeah, way too much relying on the analytics. Maybe it's because we won the Super Bowl in epic fashion. I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, would having a World Series backing up that Super Bowl, would that have made it amazing? Absolutely. People start using the term title town or something. Well, that would have been just, I'd be elated, buddy. I remember the 08 series. I was there through every game, every playoff game, every World Series game. I was there on Broad Street, and yes, it was a moment I get to share with my old kids are older now, but my younger guys, and one of my other younger guys to get a feel for it, and it's like as a father, it's a very cool thing that I can't deliver without, you can go to the store and buy an expensive iPhone or a present or something. I bought my son concert tickets. He's been waiting to go see, but that you can do. But to bring him a championship and give him something that, let's be honest, the championships are emotional even for us fans. 2017 Eagles win the championship. I was crying. And I wasn't crying because we just won a championship, period, end of sentence. I was crying because, there are certain people that aren't in my life anymore who would have loved to have been there with me with that. And I thought that cropped up right away. There was my grandfather who was a lot older. He was alive at the time. I got to enjoy that with him. I got to enjoy it with my sons, and my wife and my family and friends, and just got a monkey off our back that we haven't been able to do. And then here we are again. It's just, I just feel like we're the 09, 10, 11, 12 Phillies. And we're closer to 12 than we are 9. 9, they went to the World Series again. That's what 22 was, but they lost. And then every year they kind of kept getting further and further away. And here we are again. We got Trey Turner for a while. We got Bryce Harper for a while. I still think those guys can be beneficial, but we need more Harrison Baders type guys. Guys are going to take pitches. Guys are going to spray the ball around the field. Guys are going to play some old school baseball and not be super reliant on a binder. I agree with the guys to move on from. I want to see more Bader. Jay, absolutely. I would tell trade Bohm or Cassidy, you're going to have to find brainless GM to take them on. Mike, you're not going to get anything back. That in there is absolutely correct. There is a 3 to 4 players who can't stay. That's it. Yeah, I mean, again, not tearing it down, but there has to be I think Bader brought a little bit of like that culture change we were looking for, but just not enough. I mean, not and then of course him getting injured. I mean, the 2 at bats he had, even with his injuries, it just it felt did not maybe it was just me, but did it feel different? Did it feel like there was like a different charge in the team just when Bader came up with those two bats tonight and last night? Did it feel that way? Facts about Bueller. How pumped do you think would have faced this team that didn't bother to give him a contract offer in a big game? Yeah, Matt. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons too, and Tomper did it on himself. Yeah. LA D equals lame ass dad. Laugh out loud. I got the confusion. Oh, lame ass dad. That's funny. Okay. All right. Hey guys, if you're watching, by the way, I know I'm being a little solemn right now, but please like, subscribe to It's a Wrap Sports. There's a lot of things going on. I'm sure the Flyers post game is going or going on right now or about to go on. The Eagles probably in the second half, third quarter here. They were down last time I looked. I'm not in front of my TV right now, so and they were kind of going back and forth against the lowly Giants. There's another thing, to add to it. At least you would be, the Eagles are doing really good, and they are. Don't get me wrong by a record, but there is some glaring problems they have. Ozzie Guillen or Don Mattingly, next manager. Well, Mattingly's son's in the organization. That would be an interesting ad, Kaepernick. The flush it mentality must leave this clubhouse. So I, as a coach, or even talking to my kids when they played sports, I understand the flush it mentality, but I use the use it mentality with my players. Like when we get bad, if we get beaten bad, or we get kind of beaten in the style that the Phillies got beaten tonight, and the whole team, now a bunch of teenagers, but downtrodden, looking down, watching the grass grow because they're upset and disappointed, and some of them even teary-eyed, some of them even crying. I look them in the eye and I say, listen, guys, most coaches would tell you to flush it, but I will tell you to use it. It's like a bad taste in your mouth, like a nasty, gross, disgusting taste in your mouth. And the next time you take this field, you remember that feeling, you remember that taste in your mouth, and you make sure that never happens again. And if you put your effort out there to do that, that's what happens. And I think that's the mentality they did have in 2022 and a little bit into 2023. But then 2024 and then this year, it was more this flush it mentality, Hubert. Rob is loyal to a fault. Batting March 5th again was criminal. Yeah, after the last couple nights, it would have been a simple, just flip him and JT. Simple. Mikey, what's going on, buddy? Bye-bye, Topper, to lose like that. Yeah, I mean, you went down 2-0. I said the only way he has a chance of even being asked to come back, which I wouldn't be surprised they still do, is if they come back and somehow win this series and take 3-0. And just, I had this sinking feeling this whole game, like they couldn't score. And then, we get later into the innings and, even still when Sanchez was pitching, I'm like, these guys aren't hitting. We got to hope that pitching is perfection. And it wasn't. I mean, 1 or 2 runs in a playoff game, I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with the one run our team won. Our rang up. That was wrong. JT was telling Kirkering to throw the first base. He had time. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if he was like, I'm throwing it at home, but thinking about first base and I sail the ball wide. He panicked. And JT probably looked right in the eyes and, kind of that slow motion movie moment when when in a war scene, when bombs are dropping, explosions are happening, things are moving slow motion around you. Like he could probably see the deer in headlights moment from Orion Kirkering at that time. I'm going to hit some of these up, guys. I know I'm kind of getting behind. I want to thank everybody for really joining us. A lot of people coming in here. Hey, maybe we're going to work with each other right now as psychiatrists to each other because we need to get this all out. Running to Broad Street in 08 was amazing. Jay, absolutely, man. I don't know how you are. I'm 42. I'm 42 years old. So at that point, I was in my 20s, late 20s. And, joining with my buddies, so we were just looking at pictures the other day that were popping up. Of us at some of the games, Phil's put up as many runs as the Flyers. yeah, absolutely. I picked the Eagles and Phil's to lose. Are the Eagles still losing, Nooms? You should have to be able to separate and view reality. You have to. What do you mean by that? Like Kirkering or us fans? Like, I don't know what you mean by that. Giants 27, Eagles 17. Ugh, you just said that about 4 or 5 minutes ago. Jesus Christ, man, downward spiral right now. It's going to be a low point in Philly sports right now if the Eagles lose this tonight and Phillies go out in this kind of fashion. Cleaning house, get rid of the long and pitching. I would imagine it's going to be a lot of changes. If they get rid of Tomper, I think there's going to be a lot of guys bringing in their own guys. Surly move on as quickly as possible. Yeah, I mean, we have to, and I will be joining you guys in this postseason to do some possibly Friday night chats. We'll talk a lot about hot stove stuff going into the winter. See what moves Dombrowski does and hopefully makes. What about Dusty Baker, who just wins wherever he goes? I think at this point I'll take anybody, but I think somebody with a championship pedigree would be best. Sometimes needs to change. Can't expect New York to change their collapsing, lying down, and not do anything. Yeah, I mean they were the first to get eliminated in this round. Christopher Sanchez pitched 2 tremendous games and got no help. No help. Wasted performance. Absolutely, Ryan. Wasted performance. I mean, we have a guy like Zach Wheeler, bar none, one of the best top 5 pitchers in all baseball, easily, right? Could argue top 3, could argue more. You lose a guy like that, and you have a guy like Sanchez. Could you just imagine if we had him and Sanchez as a 1-2? Game 1 and 2 would have been a lot different, I think. I don't know. No, it wouldn't have, because the offense would have shot themselves in the foot either way. Yeah, they were down by 10. 47. All right, Jay. All right, we're close. Gotcha. Pitching coach, that's one of the bright spots. True. I'm not worried about the pitching, but I don't know if it's like Topper's gone, you're gonna change everything. Like, let the guy bring in his guys. I don't know. Team needs a crusty old veteran manager. Bruce Bochy is the guy I would MP. Absolutely MP. Bruce Bochy is the guy I would like out of some of the names I've mentioned so far. The Dusty one isn't too bad. I would say, yeah, I think Bruce Bochy would be my number 1 overall pick right now. No ifs about getting rid of Robbie. It should have been pink slipped 5 minutes after the loss. We would have lost with Wheeler. Yeah, no, you're right. I kind of was saying it, Nooms. I was kind of saying it and then it stopped. I'm like, yeah, like Wheeler would have pitched well and have been 4 wasted good pitch. And it really was wasted good pitching. Nola, even though he pitched on a couple innings, did really well. Luzardo did really well. Ranger did really well. Sanchez 2 starts really well. Again, it's not like you're giving up a lot of runs. I mean, let's look at this, real quick. Actually, I had it written down, but let's do this. I want to look at something here real quick. So, in this series, 5, 9, 11, 13. 5, 9, 11, 13. It's 13 runs in 4 games. Okay. So 3 point something runs per game. Against the Dodgers team, it's damn good pitching. All around. Bullpen and everything. We only mustered up in 3 of the 4 games, we only mustered up 7 runs. We had the 8 runs in 1 game. So we had 15 runs altogether. 8 of them, more than half of them, came in 1 game. The rest of them, 7 in 3 games. It's just a recipe for disaster. I don't want one guy on the Phillies bench to manage one. I don't want one guy on the Phillies bench to manage who was on his staff. Understood. Eagles look worse than the Phillies offense right now. Yeah, it's like it's an epidemic. But 7 runs in 3 games, yeah. You're not going to win. I don't care if you pitch gems. Shut out. Sooner or later, you're going to get you're going to get runs that were scored like tonight. Walk in, a bases loaded, and a walk-off error. It should have been a simple out. We should be sitting and watching and breathing heavy, probably waiting for something that bad to happen in the 12th inning right now. Maybe 13th inning right now. The dummy upstairs should fire Robbie right now and hire Bochy in the morning. This is a no-brainer. Yeah, I would like to. I don't know when and how long they'll wait to make that decision. I don't know if they have to wait. I don't know exactly. Trey, Colin Harper are 1 for 14. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. Like I usually would not care less to do it, but it makes the point here. Trey Turner 0 for 5 tonight with 2 strikeouts. Kyle Schwarber 1 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. Bryce Harper 0 for 4 with a walk. Alec Bohm 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Marsh 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Bader comes in. He was 0 for 1 with a strikeout, which he swung out a pitch way outside, but guy fought off and battled. Weston Wilson came in the left field, so he didn't bat, though. Remuto was 1 for 4 tonight. And you know what? That was the other thing, because all the Remuto hate that he got, and people were tired of him. It was the only bright spot. It was the best offensive player. I mean, Bader was 500 because he didn't hit a lot because of the injury, but Remuto was 353 with a 1.118 on base percentage. Kepler, who went from left to center field when they pinch hit for Marsh, was scored 1 run. He was 0 for 3, but he scored a run with a walk and a strikeout. Castellanos was 1 for 4 with the only lone RBI. Even though we're sitting here torching him, he was the last 2 games. He was the only one who really produced anything. Not last 2 games, the second and fourth game. Castellanos, like I said, 1 for 4 with the RBI and a strikeout. Stott was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. So in 37 at bats, we have 1 run scored on 4 hits. 4 hits, 1 RBI, 4 walks, and 12 Ks. Last night we only had 4 strikeouts, and look what happened. This is what I'm talking about, plate discipline. This is what I'm talking about. Stop swinging for the fences. Make these guys work. Glasnow, let's see. Glasnow went, how many pitches did he throw? Glasnow. 83 pitches. 83 pitches in 6 innings. He could have won another inning. Just imagine if they actually fought some balls off. Just imagine. Probably went 5 innings. You would have got to that bullpen faster. And now Sheehan and Sasaki, I call him Oroku Saki. If anybody knows where that's from, us 90s babies, Oroku Saki, because I can't always get his name right. Where do I get Oroku Saki from? Would you have walked Ohtani in the 7th to load the bases? No, personally, no. Now, hindsight's 2020. And yeah, hindsight's 2020, but I wouldn't have. I mean, the guy's been struggling. I would have kicked him while he's down still. You walk him, you give him life, and you also charge the guy next to him. That's how I look at things. You charge the guy next to him and get him excited about being kind of proverbially slapped in the face. That's what that is. That's what happens there. But Glasnow, 6 innings, only 2 hits allowed, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Sheehan was one lone run was against him, but in 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 strikeout. Sasaki, he had 2 strikeouts, no runs allowed, no hits allowed, no runs allowed. Vesia, how do you say his name? 1 lone walk and a strikeout. And that's what it is. I mean, Phillies pitching struck out 12 guys too. And that's why it was a pitcher's duel. And pitcher's duels do happen. But this team, it's the team. It's the offense. It's everything to do with the offense today. Pitching, and I think somebody said this earlier, was the one bright spot. So maybe the pitching coach gets a little bit of a pass. My answer to your answer, though, MP, is no. I probably wouldn't have. Now, if he gets a hit off him, then I would look like a jackass. And somebody would say, well, why didn't you just intentionally walk him and get to the guy behind him? But the guy behind him's hitting a lot, is really good too. I mean, Mookie Betts is Mookie Betts for a reason, man. Mookie Betts is Mookie Betts for a reason. But it just didn't seem like anything was too big for these guys, no matter what part of the order they're hitting in. I mean, again, they kept them off balance so far, but I felt like our pitching was keeping us alive, like pumping our chest and breathing air into us, but nobody was coming to save our life. Does that make sense? It's like somebody's bleeding out and they're holding the wound real tight to keep the blood from flowing, and it's just leaking out a little bit by a little bit. But no ambulance is on its way. No medical professionals on their way to come sew you up or surgically fix you, because there's no offense behind this stellar pitching. This isn't football where defense can score points. Good defense, good pitching, it's great. But if you can't score a goddamn run, this is what happens. You're going to go 12, 13 innings. And then it's going to be something stupid, like an errant throw from your pitcher who shits the bed at the most inopportune time. That's what that is. That's what you get. My pitching was doing well, so no, I wouldn't be afraid of throwing against Ohtani. And Topper was too stupid to notice that. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Too stupid to notice that. That it's not our pitching. And that you're more worried about making pitching moves than adjusting a batting order, getting guys in the right place to make the right hits, and talking at guys about fighting off pitches. Because apparently he did that the night before, or the day before the night before, whatever it was, before they played, and they did that. Did he forget to remind them that? Does he have to tell them every day? Does he have to pack their lunches before he goes to school? Because that's what it feels like. Feels like, he's their mommies, and he's there to blow their nose and remind them to wipe their asses when they're done shit in the bed. That's what happened. Schwarber being interviewed sounds like he's not coming back to me. Yeah, listen, man, I get it. And he's going to go through the emotions. And I don't even know if not that I don't want him back. Let me phrase this correctly. Do I want Schwarber back? Hells to the yes. But at the same time, would it be more prudent for us to take the money that we would need to lock up now Kyle Schwarber, because you're already stuck with Trey Turner. You're already stuck with Bryce Harper money. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. Do you really want another mega contract? And I want Kyle. I want him back. But is it for the betterment of the team or the betterment of just, have him on the team would make us better, but could you get more with that money? You know what I mean? Could you add a couple more baiters with that money? Like, that's my question. Can you sell Bohm now? Is he worth anything to anybody? Is Nick Castellanos anybody going to be willing enough to get rid of him? Or is it going to cost you money? I mean, that lies the bigger problem. I mean, the blueprint's out there, like somebody said earlier. Nick Castellanos isn't going to be that guy for you. Maybe Nick Castellanos is a guy for people in the need of a pinch hitter. And let him be more like Kyle Schwarber is, and maybe it would be better for him. Maybe it would be worse for him. We ain't paying Kyle $30 million plus. Probably what he's going to get. I wouldn't say ain't, because this management team might go, we can't afford to lose him from a pocket standpoint either. I mean, you just lost in the fashion you did. If you don't bring Kyle Schwarber back, are you going to lose this fan base? No. There'll be a lot of upset people. And I don't know how I feel about it right now, because right now I'm sad, I'm annoyed, I'm pissed, I'm disappointed, all the adjectives you don't want. So I don't know. Clearly, my brain could make a decision about paying Kyle Schwarber at $30, let alone $30 million at this point. And it's nothing against Kyle. It's everything against does this team need a shot in the arm, and is bringing Kyle Schwarber back the right way of doing that? Pay Casty and let him walk. Well, Adam, I don't know if it's that easy, in the sense of, it's not like, okay, it's not our money, who do we care? But there is a luxury tax, and you can't just pay him and go. I don't know. You could buy him out maybe, but why would he get buying him out means he's getting paid less. But if you could buy him out and then he can go somewhere else and get paid and make more money, I don't know how that works. I don't know if that would even be possible at him. But he needs to go. His attitude's horrible. Him and Bo, man, they're the kind of guys that piss and moan when things don't go their way instead of looking at themselves in the mirror and go, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I, at this moment in time, sucked. Because I think Bryce Harper does that. I mean, I'm going to brag on Bryce Harper. I know I've been ragging on him a lot tonight, and a lot of it is on him. You know, when you went out 5-6 years ago, and you were a free agent, and you were the most touted free agent between you and Manny Machado. When you go to a team, you set expectations, and especially in a town like Philly, and you're not meeting those expectations. And at this point, it seems like those expectations are getting further and further out of reach. So I don't feel bad for blaming Harper. I mean, whatever magic he felt in 22, I feel like it's like we had a window and that window was right there and we shut our fingers in the window and it's not opening back up like we thought it was supposed to. Like we started to jar it back open in 23, got slammed back down by the Diamondbacks in 23 and hasn't been able to be even budged in 24 against the Mets and now the Dodgers. And listen, for many years, in the last 25 years, us versus the Dodgers in the playoffs, Dodgers would shrink like turtles. Not this night, my friends. Not this night. Phillies can't afford to lose 40 home runs. And how do you replace that? It's as without Schwarber, nobody's protecting Harper. Again, I don't disagree with you, Michael. And I would definitely want to see Schwarber back in that 4 hole. Like, come on, man. Stop being analytical idiots. It's just difficult to say, if we're going to spend $30 million, can I go get 2 Harrison Bader type players and shore up some of the outfield or replace Bohm? And because Bohm's not making a ton of money. Bryson Stott's not making a ton of money. You know, Ranger's going to get paid. I think he gets paid. I mean, I know he has some injury issues. He might not get paid the $30 million we think he would get paid normally, the $25 million. But he's going to get paid well. Somebody's going to pay for him. Somebody in need of a starting pitcher. We might be one of those people. Get rid of Casting, put Harper in right, and bring Pete Alonso. Heard a lot about Pete Alonso. And I don't dislike the polar bear in that sense. But what has Pete Alonso done that makes me, again, I can't always look for somebody who's done something. It's just, I don't know. We're not one player away. We're one personality away. Or not one, we're a few personalities away. We're a culture away, a culture change away, I think. Bryce makes $25 million a year. I try to trade him to his hometown, the Vegas A's. They could bite. Remember, Bryce has got to sign off on that, though. And Bryce is in the hunt for a World Series. And I don't think going to Vegas is going to help him. And like I said, that window's closing, so he's a lot less space to crawl through at this point. Alonso could replace. Does he? Does Pete Alonso replace Kyle? Does he? Like, in all honesty, I'm being honest. Are you getting 1-for-1 for Pete Alonso for Kyle? Or is it like you're getting Kyle Schwarber light with Pete Alonso? That's my question. Could he be like Kyle? Sure. You know, does putting Bryce back in right field make more sense? Because if you do sign JT for like 2-3 years, say $15 million, 3 years, $45 million total, do you sign that and then know maybe at one point you got to push him to first and bring up your next catcher of sorts? I don't know. Listen, a lot of decisions have to be made, guys. I want to welcome all the Twitter people in. If you haven't hit like, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, please do so. I appreciate you guys. I want to thank you guys a little bit for helping me kind of work these things out. You guys have been asking great questions, bringing great comments, and this is what I do really love. I talked, for those who were with me last night, I talked about, it's the 1 year anniversary of the ESPN Rap Sports Network, and congratulations to all the guys on this network. They're doing a bang up job. I've only done some post game shows here and there, but really having a great time. So all you new guys out there who I'm seeing for the first time, I don't know if you've already subscribed, please subscribe. I would like to see you more, like talk to you more. Like to hear your thoughts. Like I said, and I think starting late November, early December, I will be doing kind of a show of my own to on the network. Talk Phillies, talk Eagles, talk whatever, and kind of a little bit of a late night talk show type situation. Get your points across. Hear what you guys got to say, and we debate, talk. P. Alonso will hit 40 home runs. And he plays first base, and Bryce is DH, and you can interchange the two. Yeah. I mean, I think Pete Alonso can. Wait a minute, how old is Pete now? That's a good question. I want to know how old is Pete Alonso. He's 30 now. He'll be 31 in December. So he's the same age as Kyle. What's Pete Alonso getting paid? I mean, he hit 38 home runs this year, 126 RBIs at 272. Okay. All right. I mean, just this year to this year. I mean, 2025, Kyle's dropped to 240. He has a 56 home runs. He has just only 6 more RBIs, 132, 145 hits. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against Pete Alonso. I'm going to see what his contract is. Wait a minute. Oh, he's a player's option this year. So he had 2 years, $54 million. So he's making like $27-ish million. So he's going to probably be getting close to Kyle Schwarber type money. He's going to get it. So are you trading one for the other? And you don't know what kind of guy Pete Alonso is. You know what kind of guy Kyle is. I mean, if you're going to get close to the same number, just keep Schwarber. I mean, would you keep Topper? No, at this point, no. And it's not even anything personally, Ellis, against Topper. It's more against changing culture. He's obviously not going to get the job done. It's the same thing. He keeps making these lineup changes, and we've seen it over the last couple of years. Unwilling to make changes in some areas, willing to turn things upside down its head unnecessarily, and it's time for a change. It's time for a change, and maybe Matty B's right. Maybe it's a sacrificial lamb type situation, but to appease the fans. But how many times you had to get burnt to know the stove's hot? And he just isn't the guy who's going to get us over a hump. Maybe he was helped us keep us from falling further down when Joe Girardi was here and really did pick the team up. But whatever magic was in 2022 and a good portion of 2023, the magic's gone. And maybe a little bit's on the players too. Maybe it's the wrong set of players. Maybe we're trying to force things out of Stott and Bohm that weren't there. I don't know. Yeah, I think they will ultimately let him walk away, MP. I mean, honestly, I think they'll just try to give him that graceful step away. And he's always said, if they won the World Series this year, I wouldn't be surprised if he quit. He kind of was supposed to retire at that point. So, I mean, we got a lot to look at in this offseason. Got to watch the Dodgers move on to play either the Cubbies or the Brewers. and you gotta wait and see who are the Toronto Blue Jays going to play. Either Mariners. I think it's going to be the Tigers. I think it's going to be the Tigers. The Mariners or Tigers, but I think it's going to be the Tigers ultimately. But there's just a lot of decisions that need to be made, and it's going to be kind of a topsy-turvy offseason. The Phillies need to do that. The Phillies really do need to do that. So I want to thank you guys again, even though this is the last Fightins final until 2026. I'm like I said, we will do it. We do Fightins final, like season recaps, hot stove check-ins. Like I said, I'm gonna have some stuff for you guys. New kind of a new show. I'm looking at Friday nights of myself to talk with you guys, just like this, very candidly, very open. And I love, like, again, I like having, like, I used to worry about getting host guests, and I'll probably get some guests on the show, bring back some guys I haven't talked to in a while. Maybe get some guys I used to do EOP stuff with. But I really want it to be between you and me, like me as the host, you guys as the guests, and really open forum and get your opinions out there and talk intelligently, and break down things. I right now, you saw it in my tone of voice, and got a little with the 4-letter words, and I don't, it was deserved. This team just completely shot the bed on every chance they got. Like I said, 3 out of the 4 games you muster 7 runs. This is what happens, and it's all on the offense. 100% on the offense. Topper's right about moving he made more moves with the pitching, which was working for the most part the whole time for this NLDS, and he didn't make any moves really with that. Now I know the loss of Bader threw things off, so it limited him. We weren't going to put Weston Wilson in or Otto Kemp or whatever, but just like I said, a simple change in the lineup, like why we kept putting Marsh behind Bohm, and when you're intentionally walking Bohm, like why wouldn't that be like, wait a minute, guys, why are they intentionally walking Alec Bohm? Oh, I don't know. That was the Topper thing that really pushed me over the edge. There he is, Freddie B. What's up, buddy? Freddie Burns. He threw the ball to backstop. The goddamn backstop. I know, man. Like the 2 runs that they scored, they didn't even like we scored for them. Like, I always said it's not the same. I hate the cliche. We lost. They didn't beat us. We lost. And in some ways, it is true. We lost. We literally forced the run across by walking guy, and we allowed a run to score when it could simply threw the guy out, either right in front of him or threw it to first. And you put a guy in there who's been known to panic in the most panic moment, Fred. And this is why this is on Topper and the bats. And if they're not getting rid of Harper, they're not getting rid of Trey, fine, but they got to put this team under a microscope. And I think Topper's going to be the first one to go. And he might graciously want to walk away. Like, he might not want to put up with it anymore. I mean, he's getting older. He's tried. He trips at the finish line, but I want a Bruce Bochy kind of guy. I want a guy who's been there, who's done it, who knows how to squeeze the most juice out of these guys, and that's what I want. Banks would have been fine in that spot. I agreed 100%. And honestly, to be honest with you, Fred, I think Banks would have been fine, and even Strahm would have been fine instead of Duran in the 7th. That was my other thing I didn't like. He did this last year. He turned the bullpen on top of its own head, and I don't understand that. We finally have a closer, and you're using him outside the closing spots, and this is what happens. I hope he just retires. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to probably go up to him and say, listen, Rob, we don't want to fire you. We want this to be like an amicable walk-away moment. Why don't you just step down? Like a forcible retirement or whatever you want to call it. I think that's what it is. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he wanted and that's what they want. Like it's kind of a win-win on both sides. And if I do a Friday night show, maybe I need Friday nights with Fred to come return and somebody be a guest. If I'm going to have a guest, Freddie would be my guy, because the only guy who can break my stones like Freddie can. I mean, love the way he does it. The only guy I look forward to when he breaks my stones. But other than that, guys, 1 hour on the nose. He did this shit with Wheeler in the World Series. We argued this for many shows. He has no feel for the game. He really, and I argued against, like, I looked at the numbers, but yeah, I mean, it's probably now. I gotta, I was wrong. Swallow my chud, move past it. Like, that's how I have to look at it. Like, he is just not going to be the guy that's going to deliver this World Series. I mean, Joe Girardi definitely wasn't. Um, there was no help with that, and he came in and he's had success, but not the type of. Again, like I said, he did that last year. That Mets series, he turned the bullpen. I mean, we didn't have a closer, but he turned the bullpen upside down on its own head, and he expects it to work, and I don't get it. I don't get it. And it's like he was following the Dodgers. The Dodgers like, well, do you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna use some starters instead of our bullpen because our bullpen is wonky, not great. So Topper's like, I could do the same too. Like, there's not an original thought in that head right there with that. And the original thoughts are even scarier. So, Fred, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure with all you guys. Please feel free to join in. I know that there's going to be plenty of post-game shows between the Eagles game. I don't even know. Anybody know the score of that game? I haven't even been looking at it. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Eagles. Still down 27-17. Oof. Wolf, you're going to lose one game to the Giants. Not what you're looking for. This is really going to be a tough night, tough Friday morning. Going to be a lot of people needing extra coffee tomorrow morning with these Eagles playing this way now on top of this loss. So, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. That is a wrap for the Fightins final for 2026. Thank you for joining me for the Friday night's game, the Friday night post games. I really did enjoy it with you guys. I really do enjoy these games, talking with you guys, good, bad, or indifferent. Even if we don't always get along in our agreements, that's what makes sports fun. But other than that, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Stay tuned for more post-game shows. And I guess here's to 2026.